Hello again everyone, so here we are with one of my basic warm-ups that I perform at the local track. This is one of several, and I think the best way to explain my approach here is that I go through the gears. So what do I mean by that? Well, let's say that there's 5 gears in your vehicle, walking being number 1, sprinting is absolutely number 5 based on the demands that it places on the body. So because of that intensity, it's absolutely essential that you don't go from 1 to 5 or even 0 to 5. Could you get away with that? Potentially if you're 3 years old and run around all day. At 45, not so much, I'm afraid. So what I'm doing here, I'm doing a little bit of lateral work. I've now got some of the ankling. I am a huge fan of working the gears. Why? Because I want to maximize performance and minimize injury, as I'm sure everyone does. But having had minor injuries, nothing major if I'm honest, I haven't broken, snapped or anything like that, no muscular tears that have taken absolutely years to heal. I've been very fortunate during my career. So here I'm just working some hamstring activation. This would be kind of level 2 for me. 1 would be a walk, would be ankling, it would be sidestepping, it would be knee lifting. So here we've got some, I can't remember if they call these karaoke or tapioca or whatever it is. I just call them kind of lateral twists. We're working a bit of the transverse plane. Due to my extensive history of martial arts and weightlifting, I do have quite tight hips. Hips that aren't painful, and I wouldn't say that they actually affect performance that much, but I am mindful of prepping them for minimizing injury. I also sometimes put in a little bit of lateral stability work, so that instead of just working the sagittal plane, i.e. moving forwards and backwards, which by definition is what sprinting is all about, I add in some extra components because I'm a big fan of the 3D approach. I'm moving in one direction, the body moves in several directions, so I'm actually going to be more prepped by working those. Here we have a little bit of hamstring activation. Last thing I want, and there's 2 areas that I focus on probably more than any other for this, and that would be hamstring and calf. Calf being the muscle belly itself and the connecting Achilles. Why? Those are your powerhouses. Those are where your first joint, your ankle, deals with the force absorption and production after the amortization phase when your foot hits the floor, dealing with several body weights at times of kind of maximum effort, which is a huge amount of potential stress going through there. I'm sure you'll agree the last thing you want is an injury or a strain there. So big focus for me, hamstring and calf. Here we're just doing a leg lift. This is a gentle stretch out and activation of quad, rectus femoris, top front of the thighs. Quite tight after millions and millions and millions of taekwondo kicks. A little bit of a leg lift and some lateral work here to activate the glute. So I'll focus on usually a 3-point on this one. Foot behind, knee in front, foot inside and knee outside. And that for me works all 3 planes and is very beneficial. So what do I mean by going through the gears? So here I'm literally in first gear, walking along, popping the ankle into a calf raise. I'm prepping for absorbing force and producing force when running at speed. And for me that's the key component here. The intensity of what I do increases as a factor of the speed that I apply to movement. For me to jog at 4-5 miles an hour, for me I'm in second gear at that stage. For me to fly along at 20 plus miles an hour, I'm in 5th gear. There's no 2 ways about it. It's maximum effort, it's huge amounts of force, and it's a lot of stress going through the system. So I certainly want to work through those gears to ensure minimal injury and maximum performance. Those are the 2 big wins for me. A little bit of upper body, so I'll work on the shoulders, some high lifts, some open and close, sometimes some rotations. Do I do a huge amount of upper body? Not really. With injuries in sprinting, you usually find that they're associated with the legs, meaning that it's very unlikely you're going to tear your abs, obliques, strain your shoulder, your lat, your chest, your bicep, your tricep. I'm not saying that they will never happen, but if I was to look at sprinting injuries, I guarantee you that there's a huge amount involving lower body and probably not that many in upper body. So this would be an exaggerated version of what the arms do in sprinting. They'd actually go from an elbow behind to fingers about chin height. That would have been gear 2 to 3 for me. I am less than half of the speed there that I would be if I was running at maybe an 80 or 90% session. So a little bit of knee lift, ankle in, probably up to 3rd gear there. So we're putting in some effort. We've ramped it up to about 30 or 40% of what we'd be doing today in the training session. Personally, I spend about 15 minutes, and there are factors that can amplify this. If it's freezing and you're a little bit tired, spend longer. If it's nice and warm and you have quite a low impact technical session, you maybe don't need that much of a warm up. And to be completely honest, your warm-up can include your technical stuff if it's not that demanding, so you actually wouldn't need that much of a warm-up. You'd warm up for maybe 5 to 10 minutes and then you can go straight into your training phase. So me now, I'm doing some knee lifts, very gentle. We're still in 2nd gear, you can tell by the tempo. This is probably about 6 miles an hour, a very comfortable jog for most of you, I am sure. Walking back, why? I'm not here to smash myself out and get a VO2 max of 60 or 70. I'm well aware that as a power athlete, it's effort, rest and recover, effort, rest and recover. It's that repeat kind of anabolic rather than that steady state cardio. So again, we're just doing some knee lifts going through. What I often do is work out what the training goal is. So this is prep phase for me. I've had quite a bit of time out. Being transparent, I've not switched off, but I've enjoyed time with the kids. We got the virus, we got lockdown, we got tracks closed, we got competitions cancelled. It kind of took the fun out of it for me, if I'm honest. I'm a big fan of motivation and flying off to events and doing stuff and really putting myself, on the line proverbially and seeing what I'm made of. Pushing on your own, it does get boring at times, let's be honest. I'm not a robot, I'm not kind of, some militant die-hard, never miss a session. It happens, we don't always feel like it, we're human. I took a bit of time out, conscious choice, fully recovered body, fully recovered mind, enjoyed time with the family, and I'm better for it. And I know that I can get back to where I was literally in, I would say, 6 weeks. Back up to 22.6 miles an hour and a 12.5 second 100 meters without a shadow of a doubt. By doing this, I've got 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks of this effort, which for me is no more than 50 to 60%, up in that to 70, up in that to 80, working through the gears, eventually revisiting my top gear number 5 and really seeing where we are in terms of time, block starts, time to 10 meters, time over 50, what my top speed is, how long I can hold top speed, all of those funky details that make the sprinter. So here we're just working some butt kicks, a little bit of hamstring activation, and it would be interesting, any comments and feedback, guys. Obviously, we're in unprecedented times, there's a hell of a lot of stuff going on in the world. How has it affected your training? Has it affected your training? There's 2 sides of the coin. You've bit the bullet, you've got some home stuff, you go to the field, you're watching DVDs at home, doing all your mobility and stretching and force production, or you've switched off, maybe you're angry at what's happening, tracks are closed, clubs are closed. Has it taken a back seat? Share some of that stuff here. We can all, hopefully this is an inclusive environment where we can communicate, we can learn from each other, we can share the highs and lows. We're here for one thing. We want to run faster. That's it for me as a sprinter. Yes, the journey's amazing and it's enjoyable and you get to learn about yourself. I'm here not just for the experience but to run faster. I'm here to knock chunks off of my time, ideally 1.5 seconds. I'm training for the M45 British 100 meters record. That's currently 11 seconds and I'm about a 12.6. Giving myself 2 to 3 years to do that, and I'm loving the journey. I'm realizing it takes time, dedication, commitment, sacrifice, pain, potentially injury along the way. I don't carry a 20-year-old vehicle, I carry a 45-year-old vehicle, so I've got a little bit more. You could say time is against me at 2 levels. I'm not against the clock, I'm also against the clock. But I'm enjoying the process. I'm loving the fact that this isn't the first engine I've built, by the way. I'm a seasoned athlete but a beginner sprinter, and that's what really makes this interesting, because I get to bring a wealth of knowledge and experience to running. So I've got the martial arts, I've got the kettlebells, I've got the weightlifting, I've got the masters in strength and conditioning. I know how to build an engine, I know how to program, periodization, etc. What can I do for me? Can I put all of my knowledge and experience into building a Ferrari? Why? Chasing11 is the channel, that's the goal, 11 seconds. And for me, at 45, potentially 47 or 48 when I achieve it, not many people realise that is the equivalent of a 20-year-old qualifying for the Olympic Games. Why? Because that is the European record as well as the British record, and if you're a European record holder, I would pretty much guarantee you that you've qualified for the Games. Very unfortunate that they've been cancelled this year in Japan, because I was looking forward to see who our new 100-meter champion would be. Now that Bolt's left, Blake's looking wobbly, Asafa Powell's probably retired, you've got Coleman, you've got Gatlin, you've got who's the 200-meter dude? I can't remember because I haven't looked at the videos for a long time. There was about 4 people that were looking very tasty, but unfortunately we will have to wait. And for a sub 10-second event, waiting an extra year is a lifetime. So anyway, with these drills, there's nothing technical, there's nothing that none of you have seen before. There's knee lifts, there's butt kicks, there's ankling, there's tapioca, there's some back pedaling. So here we are in gear 3. I am working a very basic low-level sprint speed, and what I will add here is that speed is just enough to ensure that I run ball of foot rather than flat foot, as I would if I was maybe on a treadmill that's got a maximum speed of 12 miles per hour, which most do. I don't need to front foot that because I simply do not have the tempo to warrant that as a contact. As you go through speed, you shift from flat foot to forefoot, which is why track spikes only have spikes on the ball. You make contact and you drag, and the heel never touches the floor. Guarantee you it does at lower speed. So here is my fly past, shall we say. Working 3rd gear, very easy, coming up to about 12-13 miles an hour. Little thumbs up for the camera. Done and dusted. Enjoy your training and thank you for watching. Goodbye.